We're taught very early on that it's extremely important to feel embarrassed most of the time, and then to hide that embarrassment. And when I was young, I used to have enormous fun, sort of exploiting that on tube trains, because I used to do terrible things. I used to just do all this, for about 4 minutes quietly. And I'd already picked someone in the corner of the carriage, and just at the moment I go like that. And I'd look straight at him, and he'd be looking. But the English are wonderful, aren't they? I mean, they must never, ever admit that anything's going on that's making them uncomfortable. I remember when we were shooting now for something completely different, years ago, and there was a bank robber sketch which Eric Idle had written, and I was fully dressed as a bank robber. I had the black trousers, I had the black and white stripes and the little mask, and a great big bag marked swag. And after we finished the sketch, I saw it was 5 to 3, and I had to cash a check, you see, so I went into the bank. I chickened out the mask. I took the mask off, but I did have the bag saying swag, and I remember I eventually got to the front of the queue, and the cashier just looked up and said, "Yes." Absolutely nothing. Absolutely. Like the cashier check was right. But no recognition that anything's going on.
That's what makes the British unbeatable, I'm sure. It's that pretending that nothing has happened.
Absolutely. When you get a drunk in the tube, and he's lying like this. I'll try not to do an Irish accent, all right? He's doing all that and cursing and saying terrible things, and everybody's sitting there reading the frozen pea advertisements, memorizing them by heart.
And just not showing by the merest flicker. But that's what you parody, or that's what you have traditionally parodied. Are you a great observer, then, of human nature, or an observer of people in the street? Do you put it in your memory and use it later, or is it spontaneous?
I'd love to say yes. I think I'm better. I mean, I reckon I always really worked in stereotypes, and I think in Python we always worked in stereotypes, but I think my observation's getting a little bit better now. Yes, I think so.
When you get a character that you decide to parody, do you have somebody in your mind that you've seen on the tube?
It's usually the flimsiest idea, absolutely the flimsiest little notion. It sometimes starts from a single line. I remember I rather liked a sketch I wrote about a merchant banker in Monty Python, and it all came because I'd been introduced to one at a party, and he'd done that marvellous thing about shaking hands with you without looking at you, which is actually the ultimate squisher, when they say, "Would you like to meet Terry Wogan?" and he goes, "How do you do?" And afterwards I was really cross because he'd squashed me so much, and I had this line in my mind in which he somehow said, "I forgot my name at the moment, but I am a merchant banker." Somehow that was his essence much more than his name. And just kind of based on that one silly little line, a whole sketch came.
But it is game playing, isn't it? I mean, that is the public school thing of you must try and get on top, because otherwise you'll be crushed to death.
I don't know. I think it depends on... I think it may depend on the school you go to. I think if you go to Harrow or Eton, maybe you're taught to be on top. But I think where I went, I wasn't taught to be on top. I was taught to be jolly nice and awfully apologetic and absolutely not annoy anyone at all and apologize 3 times in every sentence. I remember being in America about 2 years ago, and I was trying to think what it was about Americans that I liked and didn't like and comparing with the English. And I just sat down at a dinner table, and there were a lot of English and a lot of American all mixed up, and at one point an Englishman actually wanted the salt. Well, he didn't, being English, he didn't say, "Would you pass the salt?" He said, "Sorry." That's it, yes. Sorry is how you ask for the salt. It's true. I think we were all trained to be vastly apologetic and not to be pushy at all. And, well, like I've done with you see, if I'm sitting up properly, I'm up there. Well, that would look too damn arrogant, so I sort of get that.
how I slipped down to join you. I have
Something interesting could develop.
Yeah.